Okay, I'm Luke Ford. I play bass in Mortality. I'm an original member. Um, the band consists of myself, Darren Maloney on vocals, Aaron Peters on drums, Aaron Bilgebar on guitar, and Jason on guitar. And we're back. So it feels good, mate. It's been a long time coming. And we're pumped. Got our eyes set on the Necrosonic Festival now. We've done our first show back, and the Necrosonic's, in our sights, and we're looking forward to getting up to Brisbane and see some old friends, see our mate Kent, and get it on. Yeah,
Beautiful. Luke, thanks for joining us today, brother. We've overcome a few hurdles to get here, but we've finally done it.
we have. You feeling better?
I'm feeling much better, mate. It's been a big 6 weeks, I'll tell you that much. Now, we've got a hell of a lot to get through here today, mate. So we'll start off with the fact that, as you say, Mortality are back from the dead and set to resume hostilities as part of Necrosonic Festival at the Mansfield Tavern, Brisbane on August the 31st. Like, how you feeling, mate? Like, you excited? Are you nervous? You're a bit anxious? Like, it'd be sort of...
No, we're ready. Yeah, we're ready. We've been rehearsing for close to a year, so it's good to get out of a room and actually, see people respond to what it is that we're doing. So, you never really know. We thought it was good. We thought we were doing well, but until you get in front of a crowd, and you've got all the additional elements that can impact it, you don't really know. But everyone's been doing music a long time and played in various bands over the years. So it was good when we did play last week to get the reaction that we were hoping for. So yeah, not really apprehensive, more just ready to destroy, to be honest.
Damn straight. Now, Necrosonic is an awesome new festival featuring 30 bands across 30 stages in 12 hours, showcasing bands like Crypt, Psychroptic, Loathe, Astrodeath, Misery, Potion, plenty more, mate. Like, it's about time Australia actually got another festival that was just pure metal, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Look, it's metal always seems to take a hit, and especially look, Sydney's been had it rough, especially after COVID, as did everybody. But even prior, due to lockout laws in Sydney, and also people moving next to venues and then making
Yeah.
noise complaints about the venue that they chose to move next to, costing venues, excuse me, thousands in legals to defend it. It costs no one to send an email and complain to council, but it costs venues, like hundreds of thousands of dollars to defend. So even if they win, they lose. And in an industry that, is tough on a good day, that can be the final nail in the coffin for a lot of cases. So it's good to see, venues opening up, festivals opening up. It's good to see little hole in the wall places opening up, bigger venues taking on music again. It feels like everybody's ready to come back and, go and see music again.
Mhm. And aside from yourselves, mate, there's going to be 29 other bands playing on the day. So, who are you most looking forward to catching up with on the day?
Look, I'm mates with Low, but I want to see I'm old, so I want to see Psychotic. I want to see Misery. There's a few bands I've never seen on there, like Co's the So. I've never, just a few little bands like that, or not little bands, but a few bands like that have just, I've seen over the years, but just never been able to see them live. So, I think we're on about 5:45, so I'm actually really looking forward to not only playing, but then, I've got the evening to run amok. Um, Obviously we're effectively on tour, so look out.
Now, Mortality started life back in 1992 in Sydney, mate. So, what was the music scene like back then that gave birth to the band, and where did you fit in initially?
Initially, the metal scene was on a bit of a downward trajectory. Bands like Addictive, Mortal Sin, and all those guys have sort of, I don't want to say had their moment, but they've gone off and either gone overseas to play or, gone off to do other things. So there was a bit of a gap, and there was a few bands like Us, Neophobia, Cryogenic, Segression. We all just we were just a bunch of young guys, and we started our own not intentionally, but we started our own little scene. A lot of that was based around the Lewisham Hotel, and a lot, obviously other venues, but there was a scene created, and I think people our age really appreciated having something that was their own. It wasn't their older brother's band, it was theirs. So we created quite a good following, and a lot of our peers did the same. Ended up being a lot of cross-pollination in some of those bands. And just having your own scene, seeing everyone in your t-shirts, and eventually us getting to play with Sepultura, and it was just sort of stepping, and it was great, until we brought out the album, that was over 3-4 years. But yeah, we just worked our asses off, to be honest. We posted everywhere. We literally were military style about our advertising. Our flour and water mixture was on point. I found a poster in a car park like 20 years later, still there, untouched.
Wow.
It's like the owners are just going, screw it, we'll just leave it. It just was not coming off. So we were very, very hands-on with the advertising, and just were relentless in our advertising. Always had stickers, always had posters, and it works. We didn't have internet, so we had to be the internet. And just try and ram it down people's throats as much as we could, and it worked. Yeah, we assumed nothing. We just worked really hard.
Yeah. And musically, you created an aggressive blending of thrash, death, and groove metal that wasn't really as widespread back then as it is in the modern age. So where did the sound come from, and how tough was it to actually bring together initially?
It was just a natural progression. I think initially, it was. I mean, we listened to the same bands as everybody at our age. We listened to Slayer, Metallica, Sepultura, Anthrax, everything. So it was just a natural progression. And obviously, the more you play together, the more technical you can become. And then Meshuggah released Destroy, Erase, Improve, and then Fear Factory released Demanufacture, and those albums just did something to my DNA. I don't know what it was, but it, especially Meshuggah, it just opened up the palette of things that you could do with songwriting that took it away from standard format, and it just got my brain thinking in a different way. So it wasn't actually difficult at all. It just was a progression that changed, the way of thinking. It wasn't really intentional either. It's just what came out. We just sort of echoed things that we were taking in. And as a result, that's what came out. And we're just fortunate that everyone in the band was on the same page and could, keep up with each other with the lineup that we had, by the time we released Structure.
So speaking of Structure, like there were significant changes in the band in the lead up to that album, and when you released it, it sort of led into a more groove orientated death metal sound from the thrashy style earlier on. So what were the reasons behind that shift in sonic balance, I guess?
It was just trying to. I mean, we just got heavier. It was just music that we were listening to, and a progression of what it was that we were playing. Sort of, as I said, our mindset changed a little in the way we were writing songs, as I mentioned previously. So it's just a progression of playing together, and appreciating heavier, more extreme music. I mean, the first time I heard Napalm Death, I laughed and thought it was ridiculous, and now they're one of my favorite bands. So you just adjust, over time. You start to just get more brutal over time. I think that's what happens.
Most people get mellower as they age, mate, but metalheads get more brutal.
100%. Yeah. It changes. That never changes. So, again, just natural progression. There was nothing forced about it or anything.
Yeah. And you disbanded about 6 months after the release of Structure, mate. So at the time, was that something that felt permanent, or was it genuinely up in the air?
No, we were done. Yeah, the album, there was a delay in the release of the album, for 1,000 different reasons. But, we were kids and we were broke, and the record label, we were on its independent. And, it was what it was. It was just, it was delayed for a year, and that, it just really took the wind out of our sails. At that time, the metal scene really shifted because Nirvana and you know, the grunge scene happened, and metal shows were just, they just weren't getting people, you know. So we released an album that we were proud of, but maybe it was too a bit progressive, a bit too progressive for the time. It was received a lot better after. I found out people actually liked it years later. I didn't think anyone liked it, so it was years later that I got all the feedback, and there was reviews from overseas, and it's like shit. It was everybody then. So that's sort of another motivator for us to do what we're doing now. And there's a lot of people hadn't gotten to see it, play us live, and you know, the other night, for example, was the first for a lot of people, and we were happy that they, you know, the feedback was that they were blown away by it. You know, we didn't, like I said, we've been in a rehearsal room for nearly a year getting this right. So, yeah.
Yeah, cool. And it ultimately took COVID really to get the ball rolling again for you guys in terms of rebirth. So tell us how that came about. Like, how was the seed sown, and when did you decide that yes, that we are going to have another crack?
It was Darren, the singer, and I actually. We were just writing, we we're bored. So we were just, you know, obviously with modern technology, we've all got studios in our house. So we were just sending tracks back and forth. He was singing on them, and I was just writing all the music, and we were just writing song after song. And in the end, we're like, shit, this sounds like Mortality. What are we doing? You know, we're trying to think of we had some stupid names. Band names is hard to come up with. Like,
Yeah, they're fucking impossible, aren't they?
everything sounds stupid. So we were, we'll come up with these Gaelic, fucking just terrible names. So in the end, we just realized what it was that we were writing was Mortality, and we're like, let's you know, let's have another go at this. So again, it was just a progression until we realized, you know, I guess it's in our DNA to be this band. And we were just fortunate enough then to get, you know, the right people, because that, I mean, that's like a lotto, to get the right people who can not only gel with the way that you play, but as people, which are equally as important. Um, you know, I just, we're so fortunate with who we've got. You know, these guys are all gun players, and you know, they push us, we push them. And not only just, you know, in the playing side, you know, they, you know, keep us honest, they motivate us. If we're slacking off, they'll kick us in the ass. It's good.
And speaking of writing, mate, you have been doing a little bit of late, mate. So are you just sort of playing around, or are you actually writing with a focus for an album or an EP?
Oh no, yeah. So we just wanted to get through these gigs. We started writing, then we just put it on hold till we get through these shows. Because we just wanted to make sure, you know, we were giving it everything we had in what we wanted to do for these shows. But yeah, writing is well and truly underway. We've written the songs, we scrapped songs, we've written songs, we scrapped songs. I think there's a bit of pressure to make sure that you know, they reach a level of proficiency that we're happy with, that anyone would expect of where this band would be now. You know, not just a continuation of, but it needs to be a progression. So yeah, the riffs are, you know, you'll spend a Saturday on one riff, you know, trying to get your head around it, and then we'll delete it and we'll start again. So, you know, it's just, it's not a quick process, but I think once we get through these shows, which is our main focus, and you know, we'll then, that'll be the main focus. Absolutely. Like, this isn't a reunion. This is, we're back. So we need to write new music, and we want to write new music. And especially, we're lucky that we've had the album to learn to play together. Because it needs to sound like Mortality as well. I don't want to just sound like a different band. But it needs to progress. So yeah, so it's coming, definitely coming.
Beautiful. And you did play your first show back as a band just last weekend, I believe, mate. So how was it? How was the response? How did it feel to be back up there again?
Was at a venue called Darling Nicky's. And it was fantastic. Yeah, well, look, to be honest, you never really know. It's like, is anyone going to turn up? I don't know. And to be honest, I didn't care. Like, I just wanted to play. But then everyone came. So yeah, it was, you know, the full house. You know, all the Mortality shirts got sold. We probably could have made more. And, you know, we had Shane doing lights, who does lights a fear factory, so he's you know he's lighting the whole place up. Just epilepsy warning people if you're coming to our show. It's pretty sick. Far out. But it was fantastic to get on that stage again, and just build out these songs and give them justice and see people seeing it for the first time, and you know, for a long time, you know, for the first time in a long time was great. We've had a few reviews come in, and it's all been, you know, overwhelmingly positive. So yeah, couldn't be happier. Yeah,
Oh.
do it again.
Now, if we're being honest, bro, the few years have gone under the bridge since you were up on stage last. So, how's your live show different now than what it was back when you first started? Like, has it lost anything to Father Time?
No, it's actually progressed. Look, a lot of us were playing in bands over since, you know, the band split. I was in a band called MM9. The other guys were in Days End. Maloney was in Cryogenics. So there's a lot of stage time between us after Mortality. And like I said, we made a conscious effort to make this. We didn't want to come back as good as, or, you know, some old guys having a go. We wanted to come back stronger and better. I think being a bit older as well, we're definitely more focused now. Not as distracted by things. And, you know, it's, you know, we're taking it very, very seriously. So, you know, we're really thinking about every aspect from, you know, the way it looks to the way it sounds. And also now having two guitars. We used to only have one, with Craig Fiegel, who unfortunately just passed away a couple of weeks ago. So now we've got two guitars, and the sound is just, yeah, it was you don't, you know, I didn't know it was missing until I heard it.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's, you know, it's just fat. It's really good. Yeah, very happy. So if anything, it sounds bigger than it ever has.
Fantastic. All right, Luke. Well, thanks for your time today, bro. It's been a pleasure again today and find out about the band. Mortality will be at Necrosonic Festival in Brisbane at the Mansfield Tavern on August the 31st. 30 bands, 3 stages, 12 hours of metal. What more could you ask for?
Bring it on.